Okay, good evening. Hope you all can see my screen and hear my voice. Let me know regarding the situation.
Yes, sir. Can hear, sir.
Okay. Um, so, welcome back after about 10 days. So, I got stuck at my hometown, and due to this poor internet connection, that means unstable internet connection, and the bit noisy environment, so I did stop doing lectures. So we will continue from that point we have stopped. So I think last week, no, the week before last week, we practiced this one. Once you are given this kind of a description or kind of a list of requirements, you should be able to program it. That means convert that into logical format. That means represent that knowledge or conditions using prolog clauses. Uh, there's a very big interesting thing in this example. So according to this scenario, what we usually do is we first define facts, then we define list down the rules. According to this scenario, first you have to list down the rules, then you have to set the values for these arguments, what we call these, whether these are true or false, these status. So that will be done using these facts. So I have done this, I have demonstrated. Finally, you can check whether the particular person is happy. If he satisfies these five conditions, that means a few conditions, no need to satisfy all the five sometimes. According to the criteria or the what we call the uh, conditions or the requirements. Sometimes you can check the status of a particular thing which has so many dependencies, and the other those dependencies also might have another dependencies. So that dependency also might have some other dependencies. So you can't see the what we call the logical conjunction, what with the connectivity connection between these interconnected facts. That's why you need to have kind of an automated system or kind of a reasoning system which can link, which can see something we cannot see with our naked eye. That is usually some things we cannot observe uh, uh, easily. So that means it's hard to observe. So that means some complicated, complex relationships. So these prolog-like environments that you can develop to find a relationship referring to the pre-stored uh, knowledge. So remember, so our ultimate objective is, so my ultimate target, or what we call the, what I am setting the pitch, or what we call the forming the background to guide you to develop your own artificial cognitive system. Most people call it an expert system, small one, okay, simple one. So if you refer what we call these sources or what we call online resources, you can easily understand, because I have laid a very strict, very strong uh, foundation. So I have shown you in a random manner. I have shown you the features, how NLP can be integrated, how knowledge can be stored. That means the domain knowledge as uh, facts, and the reasoning knowledge, or what we call the inference knowledge as rules, and you know how to query and how to ask complex questions, and how to represent the meta knowledge, that means knowledge about knowledge using the nested facts, and how to implement these what we call logical conjunction, that means and operation, if o operation, if operation, and how to what we call format the output. Maybe user preferred, that means if the end user is an ordinary guy who is not a technical person, then you can you can print a formatted layout in the form of that we call the English, plain English, or some, there's again NLP. And you can combine several knowledge, and you can raise questions. So all these are guiding towards one major objective, that is what we call the uh, implementation of the expert system. So here's another what we call example. So this is how your clients, so how your what we call the people from society who needs to solve a problem, or who expects your service, who is going to hire you in order to solve a problem, which cannot be sometimes solved using traditional techniques. So this is how they communicate, or how they convey their requirement. So the requirement engineer will gather these information and then break these into facts. So arrange these things, or put them in the point form. Then the knowledge engineer is the person who converts this knowledge, which is written in plain English, into technical language, what we call the computer understandable language, or if it is an AI system, using whatever the knowledge representation techniques, you can store, or you can represent the knowledge need to be stored. That means that need to be defined by the knowledge engineer by consulting the human expert, or what we call the domain expert. So this is a kind of a paragraph, or a story, or thing, paragraph explained by a user. All vehicles need fuel. This is description. All vehicles need fuel. Car is a type of vehicle. I will highlight this for a moment. Car is a type of vehicle. Boat is one type, while airplane is another type. Cars travel on land, and airplanes fly on air. Cars and airplanes both have wheels. Boats do not have wheels. Electric cars do not need fuel. They move on electric charge on the battery. Nissan Leaf, let's say Nissan Leaf is an electric car with zero emission. That means that does not emit any exhaust gas, or what we call the carbon. So hybrid cars moves with fuel and battery charge. Aqua is a hybrid car with low emission. Sailboat is a kind of boat, and it moves with wind power. Jet is kind of an airplane which is very fast. So this is a very informal. This is what we call kind of informal knowledge. That means this is how your clients will respond. So clients will explain their requirements in real life. Remember, once you become a requirement engineer, or customer care engineer, or what we call they are not that much technical people, this is how they explain their story or their requirement. So it is very challenging to tackle them. You have to tackle or handle them in a very careful manner, because you can't expect them to explain the things using technical terms or the appropriate glossary of technical terms. Okay, so they will explain things in a free, and once the things comes to their mind in a random manner, they will tell it. Just tell it. You have to write down or you have to record them. Then later you have to arrange them. You have to break them, and you have to ignore the less important or irrelevant things. You can set priority to the most important things. You can extract the what we call the emphasized things or the highlighted factors, so the important figures. So this is kind of a description given specified by such a client. So now our challenge is converting these into Prolog set of Prolog clauses, so rules and what we call facts and rules. So that will be our first challenge. Second one, so once we have implemented, once we could implement this, or once we represent this knowledge, then we can ask these questions. Can jets fly? Do jets have wheels? What is the zero emission car? What is a zero emission car? Can sailboats fly? Are sailboats need fuel? Okay. So somebody can ask questions once we have implemented this knowledge system, and you can keep asking these questions. So this is the program, Prolog program I have written. So you might follow a different pattern or different style, or you might prefer an alternative way of defining these what we call the values of these arguments, or what we call the or to store the knowledge or represent the knowledge. So this is my way of doing that. So it's not, there's no hard and fast rule that you have to follow this one. This is the only way. This is the only what we call the way of doing this. There's no such thing. So it's up to you to determine the appropriate style or converted form of the what we call the facts and rule or the knowledge. So this is my way of doing that. Okay. So I have defined is a, this is a user defined, it's not a keyword. Is a user defined function. Okay. This has two parameters, arguments. Car is a vehicle. Okay. Car is a vehicle. Then boat is a vehicle. Airplane is a vehicle. Okay. This time what is a hybrid car. So this time I am, what we are doing, I am overriding the property, the first property, vehicle type, with new subcategory hybrid. Okay. Here again I do the same thing. I override the first parameter, which is reserved to denote the vehicle category, with the subcategory of the or the car type. Okay, electric car. Doesn't matter. These things can be done. Okay, and again this is the same thing: jet, airplane, aqua, car. Okay, so for the first, so this is somewhat the first category is the category, or what we call vehicle category. Okay, vehicle category. Okay, here what I do is here the subtype. Here's the type and here's the subtype. Okay, I'm using the same two parameters, so what we call the arguments, to further describe this vehicle type or the subcategory or the subtype of the vehicle. So again I define another user defined function, has prop. That means has property. Has property vehicle. I define with 3 what we call parameters, so 3 arguments. Vehicle, okay, vehicle has a property of running and that consumes fuel. Okay, under that, so these are inherited things. Both, again, a vehicle type has a property which is moving and which has no wheels. Okay, accordingly, all the things have been defined. Let's discuss about the last one. Jet. Jet is a category or subcategory. Okay, it's category or subcategory that once we follow the backward chaining, the prologue will automatically detect and determine, classify or categorize whether this particular entity is a category, vehicle category. We are talking about vehicles, or subcategory coming under that. So that will be done automatically. So jet has properties what? The speed, speedy, the property speed, and the attribute value is fast. Okay. So this is the category or subcategory. Then this is the act doing upon the this is the act, or what will be the action taken by the vehicle. So this is the, in order to implement that action, so this is the what we'll call the supportive or auxiliary entity that ensures, so that implements the action. So there's no hard, and again, this is not a standard format, or this is not a standard arrangement or kind of a style that you need to, that you definitely need to follow. So this is again, this is again a programmer specific or researcher specific language of telling the things to the Prolog compiler. Okay, so believe me, so I have implemented this paragraph, I have represented this knowledge using these what we call program, Prolog program. Okay, now I'm going to run this. Okay, I have to open this with SW Prolog. First of all, I need to compile this. Okay. This is an additional step for the Mac users. True, okay? No errors or even no warnings. Now I can ask the questions. Okay. Query. Can jets fly? Can jets fly? How to ask this question? How to ask this question? Fly. Where we define the thing fly? Fly. We have to find where the fly property is there. Boat, tricker, leaf, aqua, jet float, jet, airplane, car, vehicle, runs, moves, runs, emission, runs, travels, moves. Let's see. According to this program, so it's a jet. So first of all, we find the category of which kind of a vehicle is this jet. Okay. So traditional programming is first what we have to do is what we call question to be asked. Can jets fly? First, we will examine the category and subcategory of the Okay. In order to determine whether it can fly, first of all, we need to find the category of the entity jet. So V. So jet is an airplane. So jet is an airplane. Then what? Do airplanes can fly? So I think I have not included that. I think jet is an airplane. Airplane can run. Okay. Airplane. So let's jet airplane has property. This is the way. First, we find the category of the airplane. Sorry, a jet. Then we can ask this composite question. Okay. If the jet belongs to the category airplane, we already found that. Then just because we have found that, we can ask the question then. Do airplanes travel through air? Do airplanes travel through air? So how to ask this question? Where we have defined that airplane moves wheels and airplane travels air. Okay, we can ask question. Has we found this that the jet is an airplane, so we can mention that. We can find the other properties. That means the action taken by the airplanes and the medium that moves or runs or fly. Airplane travels. Okay, that action taken by the airplane is travels, medium is air. It has some other alternative answers. An airplane moves on wheels. So it has two options. Airplane can move on wheels. Meanwhile, the airplane travels through air. So this is the answer that we can figure out. Okay. We can get the direct answer. Jet. We can put V if we don't know the category. Okay. We can combine the questions. Has prop. Okay. If you don't know the category, just share the same variable, and we don't know the action and the medium. Okay. V airplane. So vehicle category is airplane, and A action travels, M medium, using the medium air. Okay. We can ask if we don't mind the what we call the vehicle category, which is not necessary to us. Okay. And I will keep that here, and at the next step I will remove that one as well. Okay. A runs, M fuel. So jet runs on fuel. That moves on moves no wheel. We have done a severe mistake here. So that tracks all the vehicle types. Okay. It's wrong here. Of course, we have to share the vehicle type. You have to share the vehicle type. So check whether we can skip the action. Airplane, medium air. Airplane, medium wheels. Okay. We don't need the action. We can skip that. So what is the other question? Do jets have wheels? I think we have already found the answer. Jets have wheels. Okay. We have just found the answer for the second question. What is the zero emission car? Zero emission car. Zero emission car. So let's examine. So is something goes wrong here? Don't know what's this due to this stupid mouse that has very low precision. You might already know that my Apple mouse has started malfunctioning. Now I found a cheap mouse from wireless mouse from Batulla. Now that gives me very poor response. So is now we need to figure out the vehicle. Okay, what is the question? So we need to figure out the zero emission car or electric car. Okay, we don't know the car, so we take it X and electric car. Okay. Nothing unusual, very simple, very traditional way of asking. So X is leaf, so it's very straightforward. Okay, and you can further run. I will further check for the using this thing. You can further examine the properties of this has prop. Has prop what? Electric car. Electric car. So we need to find the properties. Let's say P1, P2 of this electric car. So these electric cars runs, but they don't need any fuel. They runs on electric charge. So these are the properties that you can map for electric car. So if you want to skip this, what we call this electric car thing, you have to find the vehicle V, and the vehicle category you keep as C. You don't need the category. Okay, and has prop, again the vehicle category, so subcategory, and the properties P1 and P2. So vehicle category car, V means vehicle car, vehicle category category main category vehicle runs on fuel. Vehicle again boat runs on fuel. Airplane, so vehicle runs on fuel. Car moves on. Hybrid car, is a car which moves on wheels. Electric car which moves on wheels. Boat, sailboat, it's a boat, moves and don't have any wheels. So on, so you can, that will list down all combinations. Okay. Can sailboat fly? So you know the question how to ask this. Can sailboats fly? That means what you need to figure out. Okay. Is a sailboat. You can find the vehicle category. First, sailboat is a boat. Okay. Then you can find has prop the properties of a typical boat. P1, P2. Okay. Boat moves on, but that has no wheels. That has no wheels. Okay. And if you ask the question, has prop boat travels air? False. That means the boat cannot fly. Cannot fly. If you don't mind this one, you can keep it silent. False. That means you can combine the question. Is a sailboat vehicle category or subcategory? You can combine as prop. Okay. You can you can skip the vehicle category. You don't need the what we call the property one or the action, and you have to check whether that uses air as the medium. False. So this is the question that you can ask. Can sailboat fly? The answer is no. Okay. So the other question, are sailboats need fuel? Are sailboats need fuel? Okay. So what you can do is as prop. Okay. Now you know sailboat is a vehicle. Okay. Category. Now that category boat. Okay. If you can get confused, I put that as it is. Okay. Let's put capital B. Okay. Then what we need to check whether it needs fuel. Whether it needs fuel. Fuel means runs on fuel. If you know the action runs, you can put that, or you can just skip and you can put the property value fuel. Okay. Unknown procedure. Sailboat. I think we have done a kind of a typo. We have done a typing mistake, I think. Here we missed this has prop. False. According to this, sailboat does not need fuel. Yeah, can be because it's only using the wind power. Okay. Yeah, sailboat moves on wind power. Yes, it does not need fuel. Okay. Like that, you can continue asking so many questions. So my machine has become very slow because it's very about 6 years old machine. Okay, we go for the next lab sheet. So I have emailed all the 10 lab sheets. So 6 onwards, the same thing, slight modifications, the kind of what we call a small example expert system. So this is what we call the exception handling. Okay, so we can append these things that we have written earlier. So we can append these things. The thing is, what we usually do in traditional programming, we we mention or we list down the what we call the exception handling or the exceptions at the later part of the program. Okay, here in Prolog, what we going to do is we are going to specify the exceptions. So exception, we are going to do the exception handling, and we are going to put them at the very beginning of the program rather than just mentioning them later. Okay, the comments have been done, given to you. Okay, every comment is given to you. Okay, you can leisurely go through and understand these things. That means has property. So if we call the function has property, it should have 3 arguments, 3 parameters. Okay, if not, so what is the action need to be taken? Okay, what is the action need to be taken? What? Just display an error message. Just display an error message. Okay. So these are the error messages. Okay, these are the error messages. If you specify only 2 parameters instead of 3 parameters, so 3 arguments. So what is the error message? Something went wrong. Please follow the format has property, object property, property value, this thing. Okay, that means you need to have 3 parameters. So if the user input only 1 parameter, then again another error message. If the user enter all the 3 error all the 3 parameters, then continue, no error. So accordingly for the is so there were only 2 parameters, so 2 what we call arguments. So if a user enters a single argument rather than specifying both arguments, then display this what we call error message. You can put your own within these single quotes. And suppose a user tries to specify an additional parameter which is not accepted. That means which is not the correct form of the is because it's is having only 2 parameters. So like that, this example is only for handling the exceptions or the error handling or displaying the error messages only for mistaken parameters. So number of parameters, so number of arguments. So let's compile and execute this. Okay. What's wrong with it? think I have to again type this. Okay. Dot. So no errors, no warnings. Fine. Then I try to call user with only a one only one parameter x. Okay. Something went wrong. Please follow the format. Is a object followed by parent, or what we call it. There should be two parameters. Again, I try to put three parameters: x, y, z. Is a should be is a. Okay. X. Let's take this as silent parameter. Again, it forms the error message. Something went wrong. Please follow the format. Is a object parent. So same. Accordingly, you can try out these hash prop. Hash prop. You try out with only one parameter. Hash prop. Here has property. Error handling has property. Oh no, it's correct. Has property, has prop. This is the correct format. That's a user-defined function kind of thing. So under has property, so this is has just referring to has prop. Has property. So what's wrong here? Has prop. Has prop. Has prop. X, Y, Z. This is preferred format. Okay. What will happen if you put has prop x, y only? No. So it's there are definitions for, so it's not working here. It should work. Here it's working. Okay. Port moves here. It should be, no, it shouldn't be parameters. So what we call the has prop, let's say moves, it's car, something missing here. So users, you can see it's my machine, Pattern desktop. So I have handled these the what we call the output was like that. I think I have done, there's a typo or something, cannot detect that right at the moment. So this is the correct something missing here, I think. Another thing, so if you want to move into new line, so you can start entering after this this sign, then after the comma, or after this sign, or these are the connectives. Okay. I wonder what's wrong with this has property. Have we used the has property or has prop? It should be, it was overwritten as has property. Has property. Okay, now we get the error message. So I have overwritten the original, what we call the, so has prop, this is our internal, for the internal arrangement or the management. So, but this has property, I have overwritten this. So if you keep this as has prop, then it you can call the same function just to, because I have used two different entities, two different qualifiers or names here, because I want to distinguish. If somebody goes through these, what we call these comments that I have made, so there should be, it shouldn't be confusing. So this has property and the has prop. So these are two things, different things. Okay. So accordingly, you can if things are okay, then it gives yes. If you try to use only one parameter, again it gives the error message. Okay, so you can search internet for what we call how to define. So this is the missing parameters. So what inaccurate, what we call incorrect input arguments can be one error type. So there can be so many errors. So how to detect the typos, how to detect the some missing brackets of the nested facts or nested things, or any nested or any necessary what we call logical conjunctions, or any typing mistakes. So there can be so many error types that you can track, and that means you can catch and prompt what was happened or what need to be taken, how to rectify the issue. So you can easily catch the exception. Catch the exception means you can detect the what is wrong with that the user input, and provide some guidelines for the user to rectify the mistake, or the remove the mistake and retry. So you can, rather than just displaying the error in a too technical format, which may not be understood, or which may not familiar with for an ordinary or non-technical user. So what you can do is you can display a nice message here. This is also a bit too technical, but you can just provide the instructions or the guidelines just in plain English using simple language. Use three parameters. You have entered only single parameter. There must be three arguments, something like that you can tell. Okay. So please search for the other exceptions that you can handle. This is only an example, or this is just to convince you exception handling is there in Prolog programming. What I wanted to emphasize is, yes, if you are developing a comprehensive application, full application, features found in other programming languages, such as what we call, you already know, the inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and NLP like features, and recursion, everything is built into the Prolog. In addition, you can include exception handling to catch the exceptions and handle the exceptions. Okay, that means these displaying these technical error is, or the error by the compiler itself is a bit ugly. So if the user is not that much a technical guy, he will get confused. So therefore, you can check the error on behalf of him, and you can tell him what to do in simple language. So this is to improve the usability and the user friendliness, or the what we call the user friendliness of the interface that you are developing the system, in terms of the system that you are developing in the future, that the comprehensive artificial cognitive system. So I think you got the idea why we need exception handling, why we don't let the compiler itself to detect the things and show list down the errors, why we are mediating that, why we need kind of manual kind of exception handling to be done programmatically. So this is the answer to improve the user friendliness, or the improve the interactive, or the attractive, or the simple behavior for the user, from the user viewpoint. I think you got an idea about the exception handling. That means simply you can do almost everything, or the almost every feature that you experience in traditional programming language are available in Prolog environment as well. That is what I wanted to say. So it's the next, I think from the next lab sheet onwards, you have to this is input output. That means how you can save the things using a text file. So that will be useful when you save the intermediate calculations or computations, if you want to save that for the future use. And if you want to read a file and then extract some, or you can input some data, then we will use this IO, input output handling. Then from the seventh lab sheet onwards, we will move into simple building simple expert system. So these again user input improved version. So we will cover up these two by using only a single session. I think from 8 onwards, yeah, should be introduction to experts, implementing expert systems with Prolog 2. So we do all the things just to know the basic techniques of Prolog, which will be very useful to implement a real world expert system. So I'm going to stop for today. From tomorrow onwards, we will continue the online sessions. I think only 1 hour, or approximately 1 hour, or slightly higher, higher than 1 hour, I might need to complete the theory for your batch. For the multi-agent system under the Swami Intelligence, about 15-20 slides. So we will try to cover up, finalize the things, conclude the theory by tomorrow 6 to 7 as usual. Then the other sessions we will utilize for completing the practical sessions. You know the usual times, no? Each and every day 6 to 7 except Friday and Monday and Friday morning. So sometimes we will need only 4-5 hours for the theory and practicals, then we can cover up the whole stuff. Probably we will be able to complete everything within this week. Maximum 2-3 hours. We have to borrow 2-3 hours from the next week. Okay, happy coding, and we're going to stop. I think tomorrow we can't because we have IEEE meeting. CS is okay. Tomorrow evening, you prefer, I think. Okay, tomorrow evening.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, no problem. We will continue day after tomorrow. Okay, thanks for letting me, and thanks for your cooperation. I'm going to stop this session for today. We will meet by day after tomorrow then. Okay, see you.